Shabbat Shalom, Hebrew Israelite family. It was a little bit difficult for me to get on this evening. Praise the Most High that I was able to. It's a lot of lightning and thunder going on right here at our house. And it's just last week it did knock out our show on Sunday. And we were having that problem here. But anyway, we're here. Praise the Most High. You're here. Shabbat Shalom. Glory and honor to the Father Yahweh, the creator of heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is. Glory and honor to Messiah, Yahweh Shai. Greetings to the awakening 12 tribes of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob of Yasha'al. Greetings also to the precious souls among the Gentiles who have come to this truth from Father Yah's Spirit through Messiah. Greetings also to the chat, Mike Check, Sister Glasgow, Sister Love Blue, Stephen Kelly, Brother Manning, Only One Way, Yafi, Brother Brandon Beckman, Brother Castle King, Brother Baldy, Brother Joseph, Strict 66. Greetings to all of you. We're going into Deuteronomy chapter 18 today. And I wanted to start off, yeah, exactly. I wanted to start off today. First, let me say this. I want to ask for a witness. I want to ask for a witness. What am I asking for a witness? Those that were at our Memorial Day weekend this past spring in May. If you were there at the Memorial Day weekend and when we got to get together in the flesh, I think there was about 50 of us all together. I didn't count exactly, but I think there was about 40 something, 50 of us there. When we got together, did you experience love? Did you feel that we had love one for another in our fellowship? Did you experience love? Yes. I agree. I personally experienced love and peace and joy among us. I did experience that. And I believe the reason I'm bringing that up is I believe that the end result of connecting with the Father, connecting with the Messiah, connecting with the Father's word is love between brethren. That the more pure we have of truth, I feel like the more pure we have of love and fellowship. So that even though when we got together, I don't believe like it was mentioned that we should love each other, right? But it came through. That's, I guess, what I'm saying. Like nobody had to tell us that we should love each other. The love was there. And the reason the love was there, in my view, is because the Spirit of the Father was there. The Spirit of the Father's righteousness was there. And because of that, love was the fruit that organically flowed. That's right. It was an organic thing. It didn't have to be manufactured. It was there. We all felt it, right? All of us felt the cloud. And I guess I'm asking for a cloud of witnesses because all of us felt the cloud of the love that was there when we got together. And it's the same thing my wife and I experienced when we went to Ireland and saw Brother Will Thesia with Brother David Harriet. We felt the same thing. It was a spirit of a love that was between us that we had together. And it was an overwhelming love. It really was. And we praised the Most High. That's all we kept doing, was giving praise to the Most High, to be in each other's presence. And it's the same whenever like we all actually end up getting together. Brother Beckman came with Sister Beckman and they was here in the house. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, Brother Brandon, I think it was 2 years ago. This weekend, right? I mean, because it was around the 4th of July. It was 2 years ago. And he came with his wife, and his wife came with her sisters. I think it were 2 sisters, or maybe it was sister and niece. And the sister got baptized, and Sister Beckman got baptized, and Brother Beckman got baptized. And there was, the Spirit was there among us. It was there again. See, we felt the spirit of love among us. And again, it wasn't, and Brother Cat, right, it wasn't that we had to, it wasn't like that we had to try to make it happen. Like I said, I like to use the word organic because it came of itself. It just came. Just like this past May, it came. Well, why am I bringing all that up? Because we're going to be talking about Levites today and who they are, why they are, and all of that from the word. And we're going to be using multiple witnesses. But the end result of the work of the Levites should be the spirit of love and righteousness among the brethren. When Messiah told the disciples that he wanted them to love one another as he had loved them, that they should love one another, he was telling them that, if you recall, they were under the control for most of their lives of the Jews' religion, right? They were under the control. They had been taught. They had been followers of the Jews' religion. And being in that, the Bible indicated that their hearts were hardened, because the end result of man's religion is a hard heart. The quicker, the sooner, and the farther we get away from man's religion and we go to the spirit of the Creator, the more righteousness and love we experience. And again, it's not what I just said. It's not the more righteousness and love that you learn. It's the more righteousness and love you experience. And your experience in it becomes part of your life. And that's the thing. To me, the biggest change that I felt in leaving organized religion and following just the word and praying to just the Father was experience. Before, when I would speak in Christian churches, it was about theory, philosophy. And people would theorize and bring their favorite philosophies and theories to the church and discuss those and argue about them. And it wasn't real. It wasn't experiential. It wasn't something that connected. And certainly we did not have the love for each other. But now, having been separated from that and having experienced the word and having experienced the Father and his Spirit for myself, and then sharing that with others, you that have also experienced that, when we come together, the love is there. Like it was in May. It was just there. We didn't have to coerce it. We didn't have to force it. We didn't even have to think about it. It was just there. We all had it. We had love and respect for each other. We had love and respect for each other. See? And so it was rich in that regard. And every time we get, when me and Castle King and Brother Imam Bakash get together, it's the same thing. It's like we just brothers getting together. You know, it's just, that's how it is, man. And it was like that in May. And I believe it's not, again, it's not something that's a philosophy. It's something that is an organic result of individuals seeking the Father and his word, and seeking to glorify the Father and his word. When you come together with other individuals like that, it's like you've always known each other. And you know why? Because it is the one and the same Spirit. And it really comes down to that Spirit. It comes down to that. And we talk about this all the time. Righteousness is a spirit, right? It's a spirit. Love is a spirit. Anger and hatred is a spirit, right? So when you're seeking the Spirit of the Father, that's the Spirit that comes. And it's made manifest in how we connect with each other. It's made manifest. Praise the Most High. Because it's really because I listened, or I shouldn't say I listened, but I have heard Christians try to teach the Bible. And they love to talk about love and Jesus' love And they're the most backbiting and gossiping people I've ever met in my life. And speaking of being racist, the most racist group of people, and I'm telling you, I've been in Florida, Miami, Florida in the 1970s, just outside the civil rights movement. And I've met all kinds of racists from Florida, from Mississippi, from Kentucky, all of them. The most racist group of people that I've ever met in my life were Seventh-day Adventists of the Children of Yafet. By far, it's not even close. And I'm not even exaggeration. Most High is my witness. It's not even close. Not even close. They think they're entitled. They think they're higher than black people. And it comes through. The fake laugh, the fake smile, the facade, the theory, it comes through. But since I left that organization and have come to the Father and have come to the truth of his word and the conviction of my spirit, everything changed. Everything changed. Okay. And especially the change is manifest in my own house with my wife. We had a beautiful day today. We spent time together. Castle King, we went to that Cuban restaurant that you and I and the Monica Prakash went to. And we went there today. My wife hated it. And she's never going back. And I don't blame her. Yo, I asked for a cup of coffee, yo. Check this out. I asked for a cup of coffee, right? I asked for coffee with milk. The woman comes up with the cup of coffee. Check this out. She come out with a cup of coffee and red lipstick on the cup. She came out with a cup of coffee and red lipstick. And I said to her, I said, did you kiss the cup? I said, did you kiss it? And she said, what do you mean? And I showed her the cup and she, and my wife said, now she's going to take that cup in the back. She's going to find one that's clean and dump that same coffee in there. We don't know who put their lips on there. My wife's like, we ain't never coming back here. And I was like, okay, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. But yeah, but even with that, we left there. We was laughing mostly. My wife and I were cracking up in that restaurant. We was cracking up because there was some alphabet soup dudes next to us. And my wife and I were just crying, laughing the whole time. They was making us laugh. But so we left there. Then we walked up the street and we got some gelato. And the gelato was not as sweet as that drink they gave me. It tastes like sugar water. I couldn't even drink it. And so we sat down in a little cute little spot, had a little pistachio gelato. Then we went and walked down to the pier and we got us a little boat ride, Castle King. We went and got a little half-hour boat ride. That was nice. Went out there. It was just us and another couple. And we went out there on the lake and we went all the way out there. It was nice. And we came back and we walked around a little bit and came home. We had a beautiful day. And it was because of the spirit between us. It wasn't the restaurant. It wasn't anything. It was because of the spirit between us. And again, that it was all organic. We were just being real, but we were just crying, laughing. Both of us was crying. Oh gosh. Anyway, that's what it's about. At the end of the teachings of the word, that's what it's about. It's about the love and righteousness, which, I had my son-in-law question us last week about stoning somebody that worships another God. And it's hard to explain until you really know the Father. If you really know the Father and understand him and understand his word, you will understand that for anything to try to take his place, it's like somebody coming into one of your kids and saying, he's not your father, I'm your father, and lying. How would you feel about that? You see what I'm saying? It's like somebody coming and let me take it a step further. It's like somebody coming in and saying, I'm your father, with the intent of hurting your child. Their intention is to direct your child to them instead of you and then hurt your child. See, how would you feel about it? You see, that's like worshiping another God to the Father. But we wouldn't understand that until we know our Father, right? Until we know our Father. And when you pray to Father Yah and you ask him for his spirit, you understand? So that's and it's hard to explain it. Like I said, it's an experience. It's not a philosophy. That's what makes us different as a nation, as a scattered nation. What makes us different, this is not a religion. This is an experience. And it's an experience with the Heavenly Father. And that experience is only understood by those that receive of his spirit. That's it. Okay? That's it. It's all it is. See? So right. So praise the Most High. Yeah. Praise the Most High. So now, yeah, we had fun, Castle King. We had fun. It was, man, I'll tell you later, but man. So I want to start off. And we're going to get, obviously, as we always do, we're going to get multiple witnesses. You know, as we're studying Deuteronomy 18, we're going to get multiple witnesses. But I want to start off with Paul. Paul has a couple of witnesses. He gives witnesses, but it's just one because it's just him. But he's going to give us witnesses. And I want to use that and connect it to the Old Testament Hebrew Israelite prophet witnesses. And we'll bring all of that back to Deuteronomy 18. Okay. So let's start first. I want to start first with Galatians chapter 5. And in Galatians chapter 5 is 26 verses. I'm going to read it little by little. We'll go through it. But the key part to me of Galatians chapter 5 is really verse 5. So let's look at it in its context and read. Okay. Galatians chapter 5, beginning at verse 1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Messiah hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that if ye be circumcised, Messiah shall profit you nothing. For I testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law. Messiah is become of no effect unto you, whosoever of you are justified by the law. Ye are fallen from grace. For we, through the Spirit, wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. Now let's stop here. Was Paul speaking against circumcision? Let me first ask that question, get this clear. Was the Apostle Paul, in what we just read, speaking against circumcision? No, he was not. See, this is what the Gentiles will bring. But he was not speaking against circumcision. He was speaking first to the Gentiles. He was speaking to the Gentiles who were not instructed to be circumcised by the Father Yah. Abraham's seed was instructed to be circumcised, not the children of Japhet. Number 2, his point was what he said in verse 4. He said, whosoever of you are justified by the law. So in other words, if you believe that you're going to get favor with the Father by being circumcised, you're wasting your time. If you believe that you're going to be declared innocent of all your sin because you got circumcised, you're wrong. That's what he's saying. And in fact, when you read Galatians, he brings this up several times. So the Gentiles are justified by the Spirit of righteousness through faith. He said, we, through the Spirit, wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. And we know that the Father's righteousness is the faith of Messiah. So we're looking to be declared innocent by the faith of Messiah or the Father's righteousness in Messiah. We're looking to be declared innocent because Messiah has paid the penalty for our sin and given us through the righteousness of the Father perfection. Okay, Messiah as our intercessor has given us through the righteousness of the Father perfection. We did not earn it. It's a spirit. We did not earn it. We did not deserve it. But through faith, we receive it. So, righteousness is something in a spirit to be received. Perfection is something in a spirit to be received. You cannot earn it or deserve it. And you are declared innocent because of it. It's a gift. That's right, Brother Stephen Kelly. It's a gift. That's right. So, the end result of the Levite teaching, if it's done properly, should be righteousness by faith. Having received the spirit of righteousness, those who receive the Levites' teaching will love each other. Does that make sense? There will be no talk of the Father's law being nailed to the cross. Why? Because that's not righteousness. That's a lie. And no lie is righteousness. No lie is righteousness. That is a lie. The Father gave his law to the Hebrews, and it is forever. It is not to be done away with. The covenant between Father Yah and the Hebrew Israelites is the 10 Commandments. It is not ever to be done away with. And the new covenant is also between Father Yah and the Hebrew Israelites through Messiah's sacrifice for sin. See, the only difference between the old covenant and the new covenant is the atoning blood. That's the only difference. In the old covenant, the atoning blood was the blood of an animal and the innocence of an animal. In the new covenant, which is really a renewed covenant, it's the blood and innocence of Messiah. And that is a huge difference. Now you have a symbol. Now you have the real McCoy. That's right. So he says, we, through the Spirit, wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. So this is where it begins. To be justified through righteousness by faith. Okay. Now, verse 6. For in Messiah Yahushua neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision, but faith which worketh by love. Now, wait. Again, he's not saying there's no such thing as Hebrews and Gentiles. Otherwise, he wouldn't keep telling them that they were Gentiles. But he is saying in terms of justification, we're all justified by the gift of righteousness. And it works by love. So that love is the result of receiving the gift of perfection and righteousness. Love is a result of receiving the declaration of your innocence in spite of you being guilty. See? And that's the difference. There are people that will go to their grave declaring themselves innocent of a crime and are as guilty as sin. The difference between them and us is we say we're guilty. And the Father says you were guilty, but now you are justified. And we understand we don't deserve it. We understand it's a gift. We understand we did wrong. We admit, remember, godliness is acknowledging your transgressions and your iniquities. And He's forgiven them. That's the transaction. That's the transaction. Okay. And no, it doesn't do away with Father's law. It does away with our sin. And that, brethren, is all the difference in the world. It does not do away with Father's law. It does away with our sin. That is the atonement of the Day of Atonement. It doesn't do away with the law. It does away with the sin and replaces it by giving righteousness. That's right. Declared innocent because of the innocence of the Lamb. Praise the Most High. So let's keep reading. Verse 7. Ye did run well. Who did hinder you that ye should not obey the truth? So apparently, when Paul first preached the message of the Messiah gospel to the Gentiles at Galatia, they received that and they were transformed. But somebody came behind him and was trying to get them to believe they would be justified by becoming circumcised. And therefore, they lost the first love. They lost the first love. The first love is the love that causes you to receive, that you receive as a result of being justified, as a result of being declared innocent and righteous before the Father. That's the first love. You lose that when you start to depend on man. That's right. You lose it when you start to depend on man, when you start to depend on man's works to call yourself to be justified or to cause yourself to be received with perfection. You lose it because man is not the Most High. And we all very well know that the doctrine of man as God comes from Satan, and they cannot coexist with the righteousness of the Father. Cannot. There is no reconciling between the Father Yah and his perfect righteousness and Satan with his man as God doctrine. There's no reconciling. So when someone is dependent to be declared innocent by some work they do, they lost it. They're, as Paul said, you have fallen from grace. You have fallen from grace. Righteousness is given to the person that admits they're a sinner, admits what they done wrong, admits their iniquity, and receives forgiveness. That's right. That's exactly what it was. And that's illustrated. The church of Ephesus, remember now, the 7 churches of Revelation are 7 time periods. So that Ephesus represents that white horse. So that all of these letters that Paul wrote, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, all of those letters were the white horse, were the Ephesians. That's the opening of the gospel of righteousness by faith. Okay, the gospel of receiving the Father's righteousness through Messiah's message. All of that. And here, again, Galatians is being told, who did mess you up? How you got messed up? In other words, you've lost your first love. Who did hinder you? He said. Ye did run well. Who did hinder you that ye should not obey the truth? How did you lose it? Verse 8. This persuasion cameth not of him that calleth you. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. What did he say that for? So a little bit of man-made religion in your experience can ruin your experience. A little bit of man-made religion in your experience can ruin your experience. A little bit of tares can ruin the whole field. Okay. Verse 10. I have confidence in you through the master that ye will be none otherwise minded, but that he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be. That is a false prophet. A person that preaches a message of a lie is a false prophet. And he said he should bear his judgment. And again, he started off Galatians saying, let whoever gives you this message be accursed. Cursed him that gives you this man-made message and brings you away from righteousness by faith. Praise the Most High. Verse 11. And I, brethren, if I yet preach circumcision, why do I yet suffer persecution? Then is the offense of the cross ceased. I would that they were even cut off which trouble you. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. And that is what we did in May, didn't we? By love, we served one another. That's what we experienced in May. The spirit of love was among us because all of us have been justified by the Father's righteousness in his spirit. All of us received grace given to us through Messiah. All of us love the Father's word and his truth. And therefore, we had love among each other. It was an organic thing, and it will continue to be that. And brethren, there's a difference. Look, we'd be naive to not understand that government forces who invaded Elijah Muhammad's camp, who invaded Marcus Garvey's camp, who invaded Malcolm X, who invaded Fred Hampton, who invaded Martin Luther King, who invaded Elijah Muhammad. We would be naive not to understand they're going to do the same thing with us. But the difference between all of them and us is the Father. Is the Father and his spirit. You can't fool him. You can't fool him. What did Moses say? Be sure your sin will find you out. Like Ananias and Sapphira, your sin will find you out. You can't fool him. You can't. Well, all that means, Sister Love Blues, we got to get together again. Right? She said we should have taken a group photo. Yeah. Well, that means then we got to get together again. That's all that means. So we can have the group photo, praise the Most High. We got to get together again. Praise the Most High. So, yeah. Be sure your sin will find you out. Praise the Most High. Okay, now, verse 13. Oh, no, verse 14. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. See now, they started following this doctrine of having to be circumcised, and they started doing what? Backbiting. Just like the spirit of righteousness through faith, the spirit of justification from the Father, from the confession of our sin, causes us to have love for one for another. When you bring in man-made religion, backbiting comes with it. It's like getting a cable vision package. You get ESPN, you get ABC, NBC, MSNBC, that comes in the package. Well, when you get man-made religion, it's a package. Backbiting comes with it. Gossip comes with it. Okay. Verse 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Walk in the spirit. What does that mean? That means always remember it's a spiritual war you are in. Always remember spirit. Always look at everything in the spirit and ask the Heavenly Father for wisdom to see things in the spirit and not in the flesh alone. Always look in the spirit. The spirit is always willing. We know the flesh is weak. So we must understand, as Messiah saw, in the spirit, much deeper than just the flesh. He knew who Judas was. He knew who Judas was. He knew he was a thief. He knew the whole thing. There was nothing he didn't know about Judas. But he saw deeper than that. He saw the traitor. And Judas didn't understand who exactly he was betraying. And the only begotten Son of the Father. Judas was there when they raised Lazarus from the dead. Judas was there. And he still betrayed Messiah for 30 pieces of silver. And Messiah said, it'd be better for that man if he had not been born. There was a Psalm prophecy about a traitor. among the Messiah's people. In Psalm 27 and in other Psalms, there's a prophecy about it. See, brethren, there's prophecy about Judas. There's prophecy about Balaam. There's always going to be a traitor. What you don't want is to read that script. Somebody going to read it. Don't let it be you. Always seek the Spirit of the Father. Walk in the Spirit, and you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. Always remembering this is a spiritual war we're in. It's worse than any physical war. It's going to end up becoming physical when they try to take the city. But in the meantime, it's in the Spirit. And the Father lead us by the Spirit and direct our paths by the Spirit and cause us by his Spirit to be where he wants us to be when he wants us to be there. Praise the Most High. And by that Spirit, we understand when we're supposed to move and when we're not supposed to go. When we're supposed to stay still and when we're supposed to walk. But it's all by the self-same Holy Spirit of the Father. Let us always remember that and live by it all the time, every day. Understand it behind everybody, whether they realize it or not. There's a spirit. They may not even realize. It's like being hypnotized. Person can be hypnotized, don't even realize they're hypnotized till the guy snap his finger and wake you up, right? People being led by a spirit don't even realize. We understand that we're being led by a spirit. We ask the Father to lead us by his Spirit, and he will not leave the prayer unanswered if we allow it. Praise the Most High. But we have to allow it. And we read his word and we pray to him and we confess our sin and our own weakness and shortcoming. And he blesses us with his Spirit. Praise the Most High. Verse 17. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary one to another, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now, there's another one that the Christians try to use. So to be led by the Spirit and not under the law, does that mean that there's no law? What is he saying here? What is he talking about in this whole chapter that we've been reading? What is he dealing with when he says you are not under the law? What does that mean, under? What does it mean to be under the law? What does that mean? It means you're not under the curse of sin. Under the law means the wages of sin is death. Sin is a transgression of the law. You're not under the curse of sin. You're not condemned. That's right. Because he's talking about being justified. So he said, if you walk in the Spirit, you're not condemned. That's right. Under condemnation. That's right. Verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, and such likes, of which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And that fruit, again, I go back to May, Labor Day weekend, Memorial Day weekend, sorry. Go back to Memorial Day weekend. That was all there. We didn't have to singly, did we have that? No, it was all there. It all came in the package, brother. It all came in the package of our fellowship. Praise the Most High. And it just got sweeter as the time went on. Praise the Most High. They that are Messiahs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. Again, when man-made religion comes among us, provocations, envy, backbiting, gossip, jealousies, that's what comes. Because you know what? That's in every church. That's in every Christian church. It's in every one. Talk about love all they want. It's in every one. Okay? It's the biggest gossip factories are Christian churches. Biggest, by far. There's such big gossip factories that people are afraid to talk about sin, about their personal problems, about their personal struggles, because they're afraid to get judged and gossiped about in the church. And if you've been around a Christian church, you know what I'm talking about, because it is the biggest gossip factory. Biggest one. Okay, by far. And why? Because it's a man-made religion. That comes with man-made religion. That comes with it. But when you are seeking the Father alone, you're not bound or you're not under any man-made religion. You are seeking the Creator for yourself, for His glory. You're seeking His Spirit for His glory. You're seeking His Word for His glory. Then guess what? Love comes. Righteousness comes. Truth comes. Conviction comes. And you will know what I'm talking about because you've all experienced that. You know that for yourself. The conviction comes. Nobody, you need to argue with anybody about your conviction. It's your conviction. The Spirit gave you that. You can't argue with nobody about what the Spirit gave you. Right? That's like a man being healed that's being crippled and arguing with people about being crippled. For what? He's healed now. You know what I mean? No need. No need. Praise the Most High. So that was, again, that is Paul. That's the end result of proper Levite teaching. End result. Okay? Wait a minute. Man, I want to go into some Galatians too. I want to go into some Galatians. I'm going to read Galatians. I mean, not Galatians, Ephesians. I'm looking at Ephesians and saying Galatians. Help me, Lord. All right, so Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians chapter 2 and 3. There was a time that I had Ephesians 3 memorized because it was so powerful to my own spirit. But I would lose the fire because I was under man-made religion. See, when I was in man-made religion, it was almost like you lighten a lighter, right? And the lighter flickers on and it keeps going off and you have to keep lighting it and it comes on and it keeps going off. That's what would happen to me when I was a member of a Christian church. I would flicker on and would go off. And it was so frustrating. And I didn't understand it until I left the organization, until I left organized religion and man-made Christianity. When I left it, the fire has never gone out. It's never going out. There's been moments where it flickered off, but it comes back, stays on. Because it's not now of man. It's of the Heavenly Father. The fire never goes out. Praise the Most High. Galatians chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Ephesians chapter 2. Beginning at verse 1. Ephesians chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. And you hath he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sins, wherein, again, he's talking to Gentile converts to the Hebrew Messiah at Ephesus. That's who he's talking to. Gentile converts to the Hebrew Messiah at Ephesus. And you hath he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sins. For in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Disobedience is also a spirit. Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past, in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. In man-made religion, the organic result is wrath. But Yahweh, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he hath loved us, even when we were dead in sins, hath quickened us together with Messiah. By grace ye are saved, and hath raised us up together and made us sit together in heavenly places in Messiah, Yahushua, that in ages to come he might show the exceeding riches of his grace in his kindness toward us through Messiah Yahushua. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of Yahweh, not of works, lest any man should boast. For we, watch this, are his, that is Yahweh's. We are Yahweh's workmanship, created in Messiah, Yahushua, unto good works, which Yahweh hath before ordained that we should walk in them. Again, he said before ordained, going back to the term predestinated. You have been predestinated because you are responding to the Father's Spirit. Many of you have been baptized, but in the name of the Father and the Son Messiah and the Father's Spirit. Many of you have made the pledge to obey the Father, to all your ways acknowledge him. You think you just came up with that? No, that's a result of the workmanship of the Father in Messiah, which he has ordained for you from before you were born. From before you were born, you were predestined to receive what you receive. You were at the place you were supposed to be, at the time you're supposed to be, where the Father called you to be, to receive what he has for you. Praise the Most High. That's right. He knew he already knew you would be there. You're just meeting up with what he already knew about you. Praise the Most High. Let's continue. So we are Father's workmanship. He works in us through the grace he gives us because of Messiah, Messiah's sacrifice, Messiah's innocence, and Messiah's sacrifice and atonement for our sin. He works through us to create us in his image. Remember, that's what Adam lost. He made Adam in his image. And through sin and disobedience, Adam lost the image. Through Messiah, the second Adam, he builds that image back up again through the Spirit. The first thing Adam lost was his spirit. That's why he knew he was naked. He lost the Spirit. The thing we get back from the Father through Messiah's sacrifice is his Spirit. Praise the Most High. Verse 11. Wherefore, remember that ye, watch this, talking to Ephesians now. He said, remember that ye, being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time you were without Messiah. So when you were just uncircumcision, Gentiles with no spirit, you were without Messiah. Without Messiah, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without Yahweh in the world. So if you don't have the Father Yahweh, you have no hope. When you're in man-made religion, you have no hope. That is why the mark of the beast is what it is. Whoever receives the mark of the beast will receive the wrath of Yah, because you have no hope when you're in man-made religion. No hope. Verse 13. But now, in Messiah Yahushua, ye who were sometimes were far off, are made nigh by the blood of Messiah. He forgives you of all your sin because the atoning blood of the new covenant in Messiah brings you close. Praise the Most High. For he is our peace, who hath made both one, hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace. The enmity. Now, where did we hear that word before? Enmity. Where did we hear that before, brethren? Where did y'all hear in the Bible the word enmity? Where did you hear that before? And what was the context in which you heard it? Where did you hear enmity? Arkawan Banya. Genesis. Yes. Let me further say. Genesis chapter 3. And the Father said to Asatan, I will put enmity between thee, that is Asatan, and the woman, which represents the children of Israel. I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. What did Messiah tell the scribes and Pharisees? You're of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. And then he said, you will not receive me because I'm from the Father, Yah. You're of your father. Enmity. And he says here that through Messiah, the enmity is broken down so that the Gentiles are brought in to Israel. The Gentiles, he said, you were separate from the commonwealth of Israel, implying that now that the wall of the enmity between us is broke down, in other words, you're no longer on Asatan's side. You're now on the Father's side, and you're part of the commonwealth of Israel. You're not the bloodline, but you're part of the commonwealth. You're adopted into the family of Israel. Praise the Most High. Through justification, through the righteousness by faith, you're adopted into the family. Praise the Most High. Okay. Verse 16, that he might reconcile both unto Yahweh in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby, and came and preached peace to you which were far off, and to them that were nigh. For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. Now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens. Fellow citizens of what? Of the commonwealth of Israel. Praise the Most High. With the saints. Who are the saints? The bloodline. Fellow citizens with the bloodline. Praise the Most High. And of the household of Yahweh, and are built upon the foundation of apostles and prophets, Yahushua Mashiach himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto the holy temple in Yahweh, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of Yahweh through the Spirit. Yes, you become part of Israel. You see the difference between that and Christianity, which makes their own religion, their own man-made religion, their own man-made Jesus, right? They make their own religion, their own man-made Jesus, and say, we're separate. There's the Jews and there's us. When you come to the Hebrews, you're adopted into the Hebrews. You got to move into our neighborhood. You got to move in with us. Come to the Father. Praise the Most High. Part of the commonwealth. Praise the Most High. It does, Aquabah. It really does. Verse chapter 3. Oh, we got to go to chapter 3. Chapter 3, Ephesians chapter 3, beginning at verse 1. And then he continued. For this cause, what cause? To bring Gentiles into the commonwealth of Israel. That's the cause. To bring Gentiles into the commonwealth of Israel. Watch what he says here. For this cause, I, Paul, the prisoner of Yahushua Mashiach, for you Gentiles. If ye have heard of the dispensation of grace of Yahweh, which is given me to you word, how that by revelation he made known unto me the mystery, as I wrote afore in few words, whereby when ye read, ye may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Messiah, which in other ages was not made known unto the sons of men, as it is now revealed unto his holy apostles and prophets by the Spirit, that the Gentiles should be fellow heirs of the same body. He says it very clearly here, if somebody wants to read it, right? So you were apart from the commonwealth and you were without the Father. But now through the Messiah, you are adopted into the family and you are fellow citizens with us. See, this is the difference. Christians think we need to be fellow citizens with them. They are incorrect. They are not citizens of nothing until they come to us. Christianity ain't no religion by itself that the Most High is talking about. Paul is talking about Israel right here. He said, you are fellow citizens. You were away from us, but now you are made nigh to us and you become fellow citizens with the saints. There you go. Praise the Most High. It's a whole different ball game. You asking us Christians to move into your neighborhood. No, you ain't got a neighborhood we need to be in. You need to move into our neighborhood with the Father, Yah, for y'all to get received. Praise the Most High. Yes, praise the Most High. That the Gentiles should be fellow heirs of the same body and partakers of his promise in Messiah by the gospel. Whereof I was made a minister according to the gift of the grace of Yahweh given me by the effectual working of his power. Unto me, who am less than the least of all saints, is this grace given, that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Messiah. The unsearchable riches of Messiah. What is that, brethren? There is no greater gift, no deeper gift, no more powerful gift you can receive, but the spirit of righteousness from the Father in the name of Messiah. That gift can cause you to raise the dead. That gift can cause you to walk on water. That gift could cause you somebody to try to poison you and it don't even touch you. That gift can cause you to overcome anything. That gift can cause you to say it's not going to rain and it stopped raining, or it's going to rain and it rains again, or let fire come down from the sky and it comes. That's the gift of the power of the Spirit. Unsearchable. There's no finding it out where it comes from, how deep it is, how powerful it is. What it doesn't know. There's no searching that. Unsearchable riches. Praise the Most High. There's no money that could buy it. There's no money that could buy it. There is no blood more royal than Messiah's blood. Praise the Most High. That's right. He can't even conceive how deep and rich that is. It can't even, we're spending the rest of our time receiving that in order to get deeper, and we do, and there's no end to it. Praise the Most High. There's no end to it. Yep. Praise the Most High. Verse 9. And to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery being that the Gentiles should be fellow heirs. That's the mystery. Let me just make that clear, that the Gentiles should be fellow heirs of the commonwealth of Israel with us. Those that come with us should be with us. That's the mystery. Okay. Which is from the beginning of the world hath been hid in Yahweh, who created all things by Messiah Yahushua, to the intent that now unto the principalities and powers in heavenly places might be known by the church the manifold wisdom of Yahweh. By the church. By the church. He's not talking about no Christian church. Question. Your first quiz question tonight, or should I say your second one? What is the church? What is it saying? That it should be known by the church. What church is he talking about? Is it the New Covenant Baptist? Is it the New Tongue Pentecostal? Which church is he talking about? That it should be made known by the church. That right there. It says it right there. It says it should be known, verse 10. Which assembly we talking about there, Stephen Kelly? Which assembly? Which assembly we talking about? What assembly? Which one? Is there a specific assembly? I mean, which assembly is it? We talking about? The assembly of Israel. That should be, listen here. Let's read it with that word, okay? Watch this. Verse 10. To the intent that now unto the principalities and powers in heavenly places might be made known by Israel the manifold wisdom of Yahweh. Does that make sense if I say it like that? Might be known by Yasha'al the manifold wisdom of Yahweh. Because who needs to receive that message? Well, the Gentiles receive it, but I mean, it's got to be received by the Hebrews, that we got to let them in, that we got to receive them. See, that was the problem with food. There were Hebrews that would not eat with Gentiles because they couldn't trust that they knew how to properly prepare the food. That's why Paul broke on Peter. He said, you was eating with us before the people came from Jerusalem, then you wouldn't eat with us no more, because they was afraid to eat with Gentiles. It wasn't about eating anything. It was about how they prepared the food. See, that's what it was about. It wasn't about breaking or doing away with dietary law. It was still, a pig was still unclean, but they wouldn't even eat beef if a Gentile made it. See? And they needed to receive this message about the Gentiles. No, these people are with us now. And when you read Acts, I believe it's chapter 18, where the brother tells Paul, we're glad that you bring in the Gentiles to this truth, but I want you to show the brethren that you're still a Hebrew. Why don't you shave your head and go with these brothers, because they're breaking their vow now. I mean, it's time for their vow to end, their Nazarene vow, and go with them and show them that you're still with the brothers. Remember that? He told them that. Go do that. And he said, yeah, okay. And Paul did it. See? So it's the Hebrews that need to receive the Gentiles as brethren. We're not worried about, see, Christianity is trying to tell you that you got to be received by the Gentiles. No. They need to be received by us. We're the principals here. That's the big difference. The Hebrew bloodline is the principals here, not the Gentile religion of Christianity. It's completely turned around by Asatan. You don't need to be received by them. They need to be received by you. The truth is, most of them don't even know what I just said, nor will they receive it, because white supremacy don't receive that. Am I lying to y'all yet? White supremacy will not receive that. White supremacy will not receive that. Okay. And that's their problem, not ours. That's their problem. Really is. That's their problem, not ours. We know who we are, and we know who our God is, and we know what's coming. They need to receive that for them to be saved. Okay. And the test is the wake-up call is already underway. The wake-up call already underway. They came down here in Miami, taking all the Cubans out. Even people that have their proper papers. You going back to Cuba. You going back to El Salvador. But I got papers. I don't care. You going back. They're getting their wake-up call right now. Oh, you thought you was American? You thought you was down with them, with children of your family? No, you not. They letting you know, no, you not. No, you not. You think you just Dominican? Okay, you going back there. Go. You can't stay here. They're getting their wake-up call right now. Yes, they are. Praise the Most High. And it's for the blessing. It's for their blessing. That's all this is for. It's not just a spanking. It's for a blessing. It's for them to receive a blessing. Praise the Most High. Okay, chapter 3. Verse 11, according to the eternal purpose which he purposed in Messiah, Yahushua, our master, in whom we have boldness and access with confidence by the faith of him, that is Father's righteousness. Wherefore I desire that ye faint not at my tribulations for you, which is your glory. For this cause I bow my knees unto the Father of the Master, Yahushua Mashiach. Notice he said, I bow my knees unto the Father. Notice that. I bow my knees unto the Father of the Master, Yahushua Mashiach, of whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named, that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might by his Spirit in the inner man, that Messiah might dwell in your hearts by faith, that ye being rooted and grounded in love. Oh, so if you pray to the Father for the Spirit, that the Messiah will be rooted, grounded, will be in your heart, You'll be rooted and grounded in love. Weren't we rooted and grounded in love and made brethren? Weren't we rooted and grounded in love? I think we were, praise the Most High. That Messiah may dwell in your hearts by faith, that ye being rooted and grounded in love may be able to comprehend with all saints, that is, with all Israel, what is the breadth and length and depth and height, to know the love of Messiah which passeth knowledge, that ye might be filled with all the fullness of Yahweh. Now, unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us, unto him be glory by the church, or by Yashar'al, in Yashar'al, by Messiah Yahushua, throughout all ages, world without end. Amen. He's quoting Isaiah there. He's quoting Isaiah. Praise the Most High. He is quoting Isaiah. Yes. Praise the Most High. Now, let's get some other witnesses. So we got Paul. All of that, Ephesians and Galatians, was Paul's witness. Let's now go to the Old Testament Hebrew Israelite prophets, and let's get some other witnesses. Let's go first to Malachi. Malachi is actually a prophecy written to the Levites. Praise the Most High. This is Malachi chapter 2. Malachi chapter 2. Watch this. Going to begin at verse 1. Malachi chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. And I want you to notice, brethren, how we are spending all of our time in the Word. Praise the Most High. Are we not? We're getting deep in the Word. Praise the Most High. Because the proper Levite teaching should lead a person to the Spirit of the Father. Not to wear long beards or long curls or long dresses. It should change you from within. Praise the Most High. Malachi chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. And now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. For ye will not hear, and if ye will not lay it to heart to give glory unto my name, saith Yahweh of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and will curse your blessings. Yea, I have cursed them already, because ye do not lay it to heart. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung up on your faces, even the dung of your solemn feasts. And he's telling them their solemn feasts is BS. And one shall take you away with it. And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levite, saith Yahweh of hosts. My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him. For the fear wherewith he feared me, and was afraid before my name. The law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He's talking about Levite, the son, the third son of Jacob. He's telling you what he was about. Iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from iniquity. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of Yahweh of hosts. So the priest is supposed to be the messenger of the Father. But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have cursed many, caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levite, saith Yahweh of hosts. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people, according as ye have not kept my ways, but have been partial in my law. Have we not all one Father? Hath not one Yahweh created us? Why do we deal treacherously, every man against his brother, by profaning the covenant of our fathers? Judah have dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Judah hath profaned the holiness of Yahweh, which he loved, and hath married the daughter of a strange God. What does that mean in today's terms? That the people that should be teaching the truth have joined with man-made religion. and are teaching that and are profaning the Heavenly Father's name, as Ezekiel also said, and causing the people that are Yah's chosen ones to be scattered, searching and never finding. Yahweh, verse 12, Yahweh will cut off the man that doth this, the master and the scholar, out of the tabernacles of Jacob, and him that offereth an offering unto Yahweh of hosts. And this have ye done again, covering the altar of Yahweh with tears, with weeping, and with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering any more, or receiveth it with good will at your hand. Yet ye say, wherefore? Because Yahweh hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. And did not he make one? Yet he had the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one? That he might seek a godly seed. Wherefore, take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth. For Yahweh, the Most High of Israel, saith that he hateth putting away. For one covereth violence with his garment, and saith Yahweh of hosts. Wherefore, take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously. Ye have wearied Yahweh with your words. Yet ye say, wherein have we wearied him? When ye say, everyone that doth evil is good in the sight of Yahweh, he that delighteth in them, he delighteth in him. And where is the Most High of judgment? I'm going to just read from chapter 3, from the first 3 verses. Behold, I will send my messenger, that's Messiah. I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And Yahweh whom you seek, I'm sorry, that's John the Baptist. That's John the Baptist. I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And Yahweh, whom ye seek, shall suddenly, that's Messiah, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith Yahweh of hosts. But who may abide in the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? Now, wait a minute. We heard that question before too. Didn't we, brethren? Where did we hear the question being asked, who shall stand in the day of his appearing? Where did we hear that, Akawan Banya? Where did we hear that before? I mean, we heard it, didn't we, brother? Where did we hear that? Who shall stand when he appears? The book of Revelation. Right, Gary Joseph. Chapter 6. The question is asked, who shall be able to stand? And look what it says here. Who may abide in the day of his coming, and who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. He shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto Yahweh an offering in righteousness, being justified by faith. Praise the Most High. Receiving the Spirit of the Father and walking in the Spirit, that you might know the love of Messiah. You might know it, meaning you might experience it among each other by the Father's righteousness and truth and word, that we might experience it among each other. And we go through the fire. Are we not going through the fire? Has he not put us all through the fire? It's to refine us, that he might seal us. Who shall stand? Hold the winds until we have sealed the servants of our Most High in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them that were sealed. And there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. The messenger of the covenant, that is Messiah. He brought the fire. He is now putting us and guiding us through the fire to prepare us for the seal. That's right. Faith and trust in the Most High Yah. Okay. That's our second witness. We have Paul. We have Malachi. Ezekiel. Ooh, I just opened right up to it too. Look at that. I ain't even look at that. Ezekiel chapter 44. Ezekiel 44. Ezekiel chapter 44. Where do I begin here? Let me see. Okay, wait. I'm going to begin at verse 10. Ezekiel 44. I'm going to read from verse 10 down to verse 23. Ezekiel 44 from verse 10 to verse 23. And the Levites that are gone away far from me, when Israel went astray, which went astray from me after their idols, they shall even bear their iniquity. Yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary, having charge at the gates of the house, ministering to the house, that they shall slay the burnt offering and sacrifice for the people. They shall stand before him to minister unto them, because they ministered unto them before their idols, and caused the house of Israel to fall into iniquity. Wherefore have I lifted up my hand against them, saith the Most High Yahweh, and they shall bear their iniquity, and they shall not come near unto me to do the office of a priest unto me, nor come near to any of my holy things in the most holy place, but they shall bear their shame and their abominations which they have committed. So teachers that teach lies and man-made religion and falsehood, generally they do that for their own glory. He ain't happening. Okay, he ain't happening. Verse 14. But I will make them keepers of the charge of the house for all the service whereof, for all they shall. Wait, did I skip something? Verse 13. And they shall not come near unto me to do the service of a priest unto me, nor come near to any of my holy things in the most holy place, but they shall bear their shame in their abominations which they have committed. But I will make them keepers of the charge of the house for all the service thereof, for all that shall be done therein. But the priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok means righteousness, the sons of Zadok that kept the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister unto me. They shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat and the blood, saith the Most High Yahweh. They shall enter into my sanctuary. They shall come near to my table to minister unto me. They shall keep my charge. And it shall come to pass, when they enter in at the gates of the inner court, they shall be clothed with linen garments, and no wool shall come upon them, whilst they minister in the gates of the inner court and within. They shall have linen bonnets upon their heads. They shall have linen breeches. Y'all remember, right? In Zechariah, he said, take away the filthy garments and give him a change of raiment. This is it right here, the linen garments that come to the priest, the clean one that come from the Father, right? Through Messiah. They shall not gird themselves with anything that causes sweat. When they go forth into the utter court, even unto the utter court to the people, they shall put off their garments wherein they ministered, and lay them in the holy chambers, and they shall put on other garments, and they shall not sanctify the people with their garments, neither shall they shave their heads, nor suffer their locks to grow long. They shall only poll their heads, that's trimming. Neither shall any priest drink wine when they enter into the inner court. Neither shall they take for their wives a widow, nor her that is put away, but they shall take maidens of the seed of the house of Israel, or a widow that had a priest before. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the profane, and shall cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. This is the job of the Levite priest, who is the mouthpiece of Yahweh, who knows Yahweh's word, who has repented of his sin and been made clean through the blood of the Messiah, who have received perfection of righteousness and revere the Father's word, who have decided In all our ways, we will acknowledge him and allow him to direct our paths. Praise the Most High. Pillars of the temple. Exactly, Brother Stephen Kelly. Exactly. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 18. Let's bring all of that. So we got Malachi, we got Ezekiel, we got Paul. And now we go to our brother, our elder brother, Moses. Chapter 18. Deuteronomy chapter 18. Deuteronomy 18, beginning at verse 1. Deuteronomy 18, beginning at verse 1. And I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 14. Deuteronomy 18, from 1 to 14. The priests, the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat of the offerings of Yahweh made by fire and his inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. Yahweh is their inheritance, as he has said unto them. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from them that offer a sacrifice, whether it be an ox or sheep. They shall give the priest the shoulder and the two cheeks and the maw. The first fruit also of thy corn, of thy wine, of thy oil, the first of the fleece of thy sheep shalt thou give him. For Yahweh thy Most High hath chosen him out of all thy tribes to stand to minister in the name of Yahweh, him and his sons forever. And if a Levite come from any of thy gates out of all Israel, where he sojourneth, and come within the desire of his heart, unto the place which Yahweh shall choose, then he shall minister in the name of Yahweh his Most High, as all his brethren, the Levites, do, which stand there before Yahweh. And they shall have like portions to eat beside that which cometh of the sale of his patrimony. When thou art come into the land which Yahweh thy Most High giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, like an abortion, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with some familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. You know, like psychics, like tarot card readers, like palm readers, like astrologers, those guys and ladies. For all that do these things are an abomination unto Yahweh. And because of these abominations, Yahweh thy Most High doth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with Yahweh thy Most High. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearkened unto observers of times. You know, spiritual wickedness in high places, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what we got right now. They hearkened unto observer of times, unto diviners. But as for thee, Yahweh thy Most High have not suffered thee to do so. Praise the Most High. We're not in our land. We're in our enemy's land. But we do not observe these people. Charmers, necromancers, palm readers, tarot card readers. We don't observe these people. Psychics, astrologers. We don't observe these people. They're abominations to the Most High. See, even if we're not in our land, we don't observe these people. For these people, see, that's why you can go to Haiti and find witch doctors. You can find witch doctors in all of the islands where we are. Puerto Rico, Jamaica, you can find witch doctors. You know why? Because that's why we got kicked out of the land. That's why. In fact, in almost every northern tribe country, Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, Ecuador, they have a celebration called the Day of the Dead. They do, every one of them. And it comes back to these things. That's why we got kicked out of the land. In all those countries, all Central America, South American countries, Mexico, Day of the Dead, they celebrate. It's because of this. That's why we got kicked out of those countries. That's why we got kicked out of our land. When I see it, I say, okay, that's why we got kicked out of our land. I have family that got into all of that. They call it, in Jamaica, they call it root. It's the same thing. They call it root, spells and such. And yeah, we don't even deal with that. We don't want nothing to do with it. That's why, Castle Kingdom was asking me about my birthday. My mother was into root. She was deep in root. She still is, which is why she and I cannot talk, even though she's my mother. She follows that. She follows it deep. It's her religion. And she raised me in it, which is why I completely reject it. And I have no problem with that, which is why the father don't even want me to contact her. She working with root. She works with root. You cannot have a reconciliation when one is with the devil and one is not. Where does light and darkness meet? What part has the devil with Messiah? I can't. And it's not of me. Father told me that. Leave her alone. I know it sounds hard, but that's my reality. We don't do root. We don't do voodoo. We don't do that stuff. We're not involved with it. That's not Israel. That's why Israel left the land. Remember that. When you start to see people do all that stuff in Africa, they do those dances with those tribesmen and all that. That's voodoo. That's root. That's why we got kicked off the land. That's why we're not there no more. That's why Christians were permitted to enslave us. Christians were permitted to enslave us. They kidnapped and enslaved us because we was into that stuff. Remember that. And part of the awakening is getting away from it. That's part of the awakening. Getting away from it. Coming back to the word and to the spirit of the Father. Praise the Most High. Well, we'll continue tomorrow with the prophet. May the Most High bless you and keep you. And may he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And may he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom.